Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is trying to negotiate a deal to receive immunity in return for his testimony on President Trump's communications with Russia during the election. President Trump referred to Flynn's trial as a witch hunt, saying that the media and Democrats are using it as an excuse for losing the election. The Senate Intelligence Committee has turned down Flynn's request for immunity. Flynn was President Trump's first national security advisor and left his role after misleading Vice President Mike Pence about conversations with Russian officials. The King of Jordan is planning a visit to the White House next week. King Abdullah II will visit on April 5th to discuss a range of Middle Eastern interests. President Trump will also meet with the President of Egypt on April 3rd.
Abortion providers are losing their funding following a Senate vote to repeal an Obama-era regulation. Vice President Mike Pence is responsible for the tie-breaking vote after Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski from Alaska and Susan Collins from Maine crossed party lines to side with the Democrats earlier this year. Pence also acted as a tiebreaker to confirm the appointment of Betsy DeVos.
A section of Interstate 85 in Atlanta is closing right before spring break travel kicks off after a mysterious fire ignited traffic nightmares. The northbound overpass of I-85 collapsed Thursday evening, forcing the closure of all lanes for the foreseeable future. There were no injuries, and officials managed to extinguish the fire. The Atlanta Fire Department is currently working to identify the cause of the fire.
A woman is being charged for attempting to run over police officers with her car. The 20-year-old had a confrontation with the police, resulting in the lockdown of the Capitol building after two police officers shot at her vehicle when she hit their cruiser. She's being held in jail until her hearing on April 4th.
Green Line riders can expect an alteration to their morning commute. Starting on April 15th and continuing through the 29th, shuttle buses will replace the Metro between Greenbelt and Prince George's Plaza. During this time, the College Park and Greenbelt stations will be closed. This shutdown is intending to reduce the impact on Green Line riders by allowing around-the-clock work to occur during this time, instead of continuing single tracking.
A group of DC charter school teachers are calling off their campaign to unionize after failing to gain public support. Last month, Paul Public Charter School in Northwest DC submitted a petition to the school's management, giving teachers and staff a legally binding chance to unionize, an effort which was not recognized by the school board. The American Federation of Teachers called off the vote a day before the staff members were scheduled to cast their ballots, citing that the school administration created a toxic environment full of fear and intimidation.
There is an increase in email accounts linked to educational institutions being bought and sold on the dark web. District Wire News' Jenica Krall has more information on what you need to know about these data breaches.
Cybersecurity experts are seeing an increase in .edu email addresses being bought and sold on the dark web.
There's different parts of the dark web. Initially, a lot of universities or companies could have an intranet as part of a different layer that's unindexed on the internet, so they could just be using that for internal purposes. But of course, there's a lot of nefarious things going on the dark web, so that's an area that people who are doing a lot of criminal activity are spending time.
Exposure to these data breaches occurs when students, faculty, and staff use their emails on third-party sites.
I always want to be clear, the data that we're pulling in is not an internal data breach. It's, again, typically on a third-party website. So really, any university with a population is going to have risk because everybody is using their credentials.
I think it won't change any of my behaviors, but I will take a closer look at where my email is being used.
Experts advise to not use email passwords over and over, and also keep those passwords updated as often as possible. In Washington, Jenica Krall for District Wire News.
Coming up on District Wire News, a new Uber program focused at suburban commuters is on the way.